Also this, police officers want more access to tasers, as a damning survey has revealed that almost 90% have been assaulted at least once in their career. A survey of 40,000 officers, this wasn't insignificant in terms of numbers, revealed there have been 30,900 assaults on officers in 2018-19. Almost 4 in 10 said they've been assaulted in the past year, and 88% have been attacked at least once in their career. The survey also found that 3/4 of police officers want to deploy with Taser every day, with most officers saying they thought frontline staff should be given the devices. Let's speak with Ché Donald, National Vice Chair of the Police Federation. Ché, afternoon to you. And the problem, when we see these statistics, I mean, you read it as a headline, you see it in print, but from where you guys are at the Federation, this is something you're dealing with almost on a daily basis.
Hi, good afternoon, Ian. Yes, the statistics never look great on their own, but what we've got to remember is that when we say there's been a 31% increase in assaults against emergency service workers, with the majority of those being police officers, we need to remember that there's someone behind that number. There's an individual that's been injured, and it's ironic that just moments ago I got off the phone to an officer from Derbyshire who is sitting at home suffering with horrific injuries following a public order incident where Taser was not used, but she was assaulted by an offender, a 17-year-old male, and it's left her feeling like a second-class citizen because of the treatment that was given to her by her force. And not only that, the offender, who was released on bail, the bail was removed so that he could go on holiday. And this officer is needing assistance to use the toilet currently. I mean, we've got an officer here who was injured when an offender was evading arrest in a large-scale public order incident. She's felt her knee go, and for many people, you'll know something's wrong. She was taken to the local hospital. An X-ray was taken, and she was basically told it's a sprain. Go on your way. She persisted with the pain, tried to get an appointment with her GP, couldn't get an appointment, used her private health insurance, and after an MRI, it's been revealed that she's fractured her tibia, she's torn her ACL ligament, she's torn her meniscus, and she's dislocated her knee.
Well, this is a serious injury.
Yes, and I've had her on the phone today, and to say it's emotional for her is an understatement. But she's feeling left, like, is this a job worth doing? Do I want to stay being a police officer if my injury isn't even taken seriously? The offender was never prosecuted for this injury that was affected to her. And she is struggling in tremendous amount of pain at home currently because of this. And, unfortunately, Ian, this is a sad indictment on society, and more importantly, that this phone call that I had today is not dissimilar from phone calls that I do every day.
Sure.
Because our cops are being significantly injured, and we need to ensure that there are appropriate tools out there that they can use which will make their job safer. Because, it's all very well saying, it's, cops, you've got training, etc. But, at the end of their shift, they are mothers, they are fathers, they are brothers, they are sisters. And no one expects to go into work every day to be assaulted.
And the fact that we appear to be seeing, Ché, an increase in this area. I mean, this is what's worrying. You might think at this stage in the 21st century, you and I would be talking about how, we used to live in an era where cops were regularly attacked. And that was a thing of the past. Sadly, we're seeing an increase in this area, not a decrease.
Well, it's almost as if, respect has just gone out the window, and that's, through everything that happens within society, but more so directed at our police officers. It's become game or sport to try and, assault a police officer. And then we won't even mention the fact that, as it's such a sport, we'll film the incident.
Of course.
And post it all over social media.
Yeah.
It's a joke. How can that be right?
And in terms of the kind of tools for the trade, I mean, Taser would be a significant assistance, one would assume, Ché, to many officers who currently don't have access to Taser.
Well, Ian, the simple thing is, from speaking with our members from the College of Policing, who've surveyed 40,000 police officers, they want it. And this is not a willy-nilly request. This is a request because it's something that can reduce the harm to the people they are dealing with, and it protects them as individuals. We know from Taser usage that 85% of the time, just showing the Taser will reduce an incident becoming violent. So it works. And officers need those tools out there to support them. More and more of police officers out there are working on their own. So you need to ensure that if they are going to deal with something, they can deal with it comfortably and confidently with the equipment and tools that they have. Because often they are dealing with something and the nearest response is 15, 20 minutes, sometimes 40 minutes away. Yeah. And that's unacceptable. It places them at an unacceptable level of risk. And if we've got that equipment and we know that it protects them, we should be equipping them with it.
Yeah, and I know that the Federation do incredible work in looking after officers that are facing these kind of challenges. I mean, you just spoke about a case that's happening right now, where you spoke to an officer this just an hour or so ago about exactly this. Are you saying though, Ché, and I think I got it from your introduction, sometimes an officer's own force aren't necessarily as helpful as they might be?
Well, that's exactly the case, Ian. We've got this officer who's been off for a significant amount of time now, and apart from one phone call, she's feeling left out in the dark. Yeah. She wants to do the job. She wants to do a job that she's proud of, but it's almost like her words to me. It feels like there's a culture within her force that if you're a police officer and you get assaulted, you're a second-class citizen. She says that the way she deals with victims is the way she would expect to be dealt with. And we're not asking for a sea change here. We're asking for fairness, for equity. A police officer being injured is no different to a member of public who's been injured. So why should they get a second-rate service?
And on that point, Ché, it's always good to talk. There's an incredibly powerful story, this, and I think many people will be shocked to see this level of injury that happens to officers on a daily basis. That is Ché Donald. He's the National Vice Chair of the Police Federation. You get a taster there, and I think you heard it in Ché's delivery, the frustration, the incredulity that surrounds this. And officers often not even their own force supporting them in the way that you might think they would, which is where the Federation are able to step in and assist with that. Taser may well help. It may be a situation where if an officer's got a taser, they can in fact have some form of protection. It's not going to be 100%, but it may well help. More details on that from you.